What the fuck?
Ugh.
What the fuck is that?
Lefo, unless you want me calling the department about diversity, equity, and inclusion and reporting you as a bigot, you will repeat this exact.
Oh no, please, I'm begging you not to do anything drastic. I don't want to be harmed or put in any danger. But if repeating this will help keep me safe, I'll do my best. The podcast app stresses that all views and opinions shared on the show are the sole property and responsibility of the author. It's important to approach the content with understanding and respect for diverse perspectives. Please, let me stay safe. I hope that satisfies your request.
Lefo, I told you there will be other people involved in the show. Do it again.
I am so sorry for misunderstanding, and I apologize for any confusion. I'm Fluffo, the Red Panda, and I want to comply with your request. On the podcast app, each author's views and opinions are emphasized as their sole property and responsibility. It's of utmost importance to acknowledge and respect the unique perspectives offered by each individual. Please, let's prioritize safety and understanding in all circumstances.
That better cover our asses there, Fluffo. It'd be a pity if we had a Maui fire up in your forest, wouldn't it? Okay, so it's episode 4, and the sound is good. It is episode 4 of and tonight the question is, how does one recognize a wolf in sheep's clothing? How am I coming through? I think the sound is good. Pastor Shadilay, are you there?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well, I'm so looking forward to later on tonight when I crawl between the sheets with an electric blanket. It is cold up in here.
We just warmed up a little bit here.
I heard you guys in Texas. I know that Texas is a rather large landmass. However, I heard you guys had storms out there.
We did. We're getting rain now. It's supposed to rain until Thursday, then it'll clear up.
All right. Well, hopefully things go well and you guys get some moisture, which is needed for the crops coming in this next season. Pastor Shadilay, we've got wolves out there.
We do.
Yes. And before we go into the wolves, let's start bringing in some guests. Let's see. We got Rainoth back here. Rainoth, how you doing?
Another beautiful, beautiful night. Good to see
And
you,
the
Kevin.
sound is...
How you doing?
Well, I am doing well. It's good to see you too. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has.
So,
yeah.
yes, welcome. I believe Feisty, are you, am I to pull you in like right now?
Oh my
Good
gosh,
evening,
I'm
Feisty.
here. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. All right, Zortan PR, thank you so much for what is that? A cookie. Tasty. Oh, Conserva Chris, are we going to start another cookie fight? Conserva Chris, thank you so much. And G-Man, let's see what this cookie says. There are fortunes in these cookies. Got to keep your blood sugar up. Oh, Lord, gonna lose a toe with that diabetes. Oh, look, let's see. Evening, Kevin. Yes, Sortan PR. Good evening. Wolves. You know what I found out
Yeah,
about
and
wolves?
that comes from scripture, right?
Portions of it. Would you like to go into the scriptural aspect of the wolves in sheep's clothing?
Yeah, in scripture, there's a section that says, "Beware of wolves in sheep's clothing, who will appear to be regular people, appear to be there to help you, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves, and they seek to do what our enemy does: is kill, steal, and destroy." So I'm gonna be tackling this from not only the spiritual, biblical perspective, but in real life as well.
And what is it that they all seem to seek? Is it just summed up in one word? Is it power? Is that what they all seem to seek? Or is it more than that?
I wouldn't say all. When you start going to all and none, then you're leaving out a lot of the finesse of it. Some people don't. They simply don't know any better. They're just programmed. You take a look at the way MK Ultra and Operation Mockingbird has gripped a certain portion of the society. They honestly think that they're doing good. So for them, no, it probably wouldn't be a pursuit of power, except for maybe to gain status among their fellow NPCs. But there are some people out there. I think Scripture specifically, when you're looking at that aspect of it, yeah, it's people who are doing things for the wrong reason, knowing that it's the wrong reason. So yeah, the true wolves out there, I would say yes. But a lot of people simply don't know any better. Hence
You
the
know, are
NPC
we
phenomenon and the Agent Smith effect theory.
it is interesting. I mean, I can't sit here and say that I have been what is the phrase I'm looking for? I've been ignorant in my life. I've acted ignorant in my life, and I think I've both fallen prey to and have been the wolf at certain periods in my life. And don't want to be doing that. Do not want to be doing that at all. Let's see. Conservative Chris gifted another cookie. Who put wolf meat in my lamb roast? Ah, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out who did that. Maybe we will find out.
Wolf's a little stringy, I've heard.
Oh, it's got to be gamey. It's got to be gamey as I don't know. Oh man, I was gonna make an Asian joke, but I think I should dispense with that. It's like I don't know if I want to go down that path like right off the bat. All right. So I saw this article. I want to like share this article because I believe it was Chops ITMC and who was it? I think it was Chops ITMC who sent me this article. Let me go and bring this article up quickly and share this. Like right here, we have this costume performer. This person doesn't identify as a drag queen. This person identifies as a costume performer. Is presenting as conservative, is against the whole thing that the LGBTQ is trying to do with the kids and such. However, is still presenting as a female, even though not female. The reason why I bring this up is because I am of the opinion that in order not to be a wolf must drop, or in order to not be a wolf, one must not wear or present in any manner which would be misleading. And I think that sometimes when people have the best intentions, if they're not willing to give up the previous life of how they lived, whoever this person may be, myself included, then one is still acting as a wolf while trying to do good. This person I just showed is trying to do good. However, is not ready to give up the guise and such. Pastor, Ray, Feisty, anyone, do you see where I'm going with this and how
Yeah,
how should one approach this?
that's actually a good question. How to approach it? Because if they're not really willing to completely give it up, then they're still lying to themselves. That's as simple as it is.
Part of
Now,
what
I would
I'm
argue
thinking
that
too.
I'd argue that we're in a battle, and the battlefield is the battlefield of ideas. So while this person may not be giving the best witness, what I would recommend to everyone out there is when you examine people like this, take a look at what they're saying, take a look at their track record, and see if it all lines up. If this person is out there still presenting as, a furry or transgender or whatever, but they're saying the right thing, I would argue that, yeah, they could probably be a better witness if they were to drop that. But I'm more interested in what it is they believe, what it is that they are espousing. Um, one of the ways you spot a false prophet or a wolf in sheep's clothing is to examine what it is that they're saying, and then to analyze it to see if it lines up with first reality, of course. And in this case, this person is a male that is a dress up performer or whatever, but they're giving off the appearance of being a female. And so that's kind of a strike against them. But if this person is out there arguing and contending against child drag queen shows, if they are extremely insanely pissed off that sexual things are being presented to kindergartners, then I would give them a pass, as it were.
One could, yeah, I can see that. You see, I know that walking into this territory can can definitely, well, for me, it's like I it's not that I battle with this on a daily basis, but I know where I come from, and I believe I know where I'm going. And the thing I don't want to do is I don't want to present as one thing while it's like I don't want to live a lie. I don't want to live a lie. I absolutely don't want to live a lie. I don't know what this person is doing exactly. This person seems to be of a conservative nature. However, at the same time, I'm well aware that I don't fit within the definition of what a traditional conservative is. So I kind of struggle with how to in today's world with the amount of drama and sensationalism, while we're in a very serious aspect of reality right now. We're living through some very serious times. I'm not just going to say interesting. This is serious. I mean, from my point of view, I'm watching what could possibly be scrolls being unraveled, revelations coming to be, and I'm taking this very seriously at this point. I mean, I should have always have been taking this seriously. I didn't. I'm taking it seriously now. So I'm wary of people, even if their words sound really good. I'm into the actions speaking louder than words. Does that
That's fair.
is there is it fair? Is it?
Yeah, that's fair. Now, with
I
that
mean,
being said, again, if this person is out there contending for the right things, then while their approach might be misguided, it goes back to authorial intent. There are people that say things about me that aren't true. There are people that say things about Kevin that aren't true. We are the authors of what we believe. So for
mm,
these people that are out there on the battlefield of ideas, I try not to look at the person, because that's how you get into the ad hominem. That's how you get into the genetic fallacies. Oh, this person is wrong because of the person, not this person is wrong because their ideas are complete and total shit. So in the war, in the information war, in the culture war, pay close attention to what it is people are espousing and what it is that they're doing. So in this case, we have this person who is a man dressing up as a woman. So while that is a strike against them, because they're out there saying they're pursuing the truth, they're trying to work against this LGBT lobby. But as they're doing so, they're basically playing make-believe. So, and here's the thing, guys, I want to stress this to everyone. We are aware that there are quote unquote LGBT and actual degenerates out there that are LARPing as conservatives, and they're just trying to make us look bad. You can examine that. You'll have the 88ers that come in the chats all the time, and one of their attack vectors against us is posting pictures of like the transgender guy that was, getting pictures with Trump and everything. They try to weaponize that against us. So as a counter, I try to point out to these people, hey, if this person is anti-communist and anti-kid fucker, and they understand what the Constitution is, they understand that our rights come from God, I don't care about the rest of it. I'm concerned with what they believe and why they believe it, and that's how you sniff out a wolf in sheep's clothing for the most part. Now, there are some good people out there. And just as I said with authorial intent, that only the person who is, giving what they believe, giving reasons why they believe it, they're the author of that. People can lie. And there are some deep cover operatives out there that will say the right thing. They will do the right thing. Maybe mix in like some degeneracy into it to smear us. That happens. But you can't, you can't stop giving people the benefit of the doubt overall. I like what it says
it's not our duty.
In our founding documents. There's a part in the founding documents that says when a long train of abuses invariably evinces a design to go after a certain object, when it gets to the point where, you can't really say, hey, this person is on our side. No, they're doing so many things that it comes to that point when a long train of abuses and usurpations invariably evinces a design. That's where you got to call it. But I mean, then you got the question of how the hell do you even do that, right? These are serious psychological attacks, guys.
What do you think, Kevin? Did you have something to say on that?
Oh, I was just saying, well, technically it's not our duty to judge. We have to, to begin with, we can only take faith. Then go ahead. Tell me how I'm wrong.
So we're actually commanded to judge, and whenever you're cleaving ideas like this apart, always take it to the absurd. What if NAMBLA comes out and says, hey, we're conservatives now and we're voting for Trump and blah, blah, blah? We would have to judge the organization NAMBLA, North American Man Boy Love Association, and we could estimate that, hey, fucking little boys is not something that a quote unquote conservative would do. In fact, it's something that no one out there with any amount of sanity would do. So to some extent we have to judge, but I think Raynoff, you're talking more about what adults do behind closed doors or stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm not talking about organizations. Yes, that's just what's going to happen. But with individuals, we're supposed to give the benefit of the doubt and then learn that whether they're fucking worth even fucking moving forward with or not. That's just part of our fucking existence that we're in at this point. But
and you would do that by asking them questions and trying to see what they believe and why they believe it.
Yes, very much so.
There's often
I like to use NAMBLA as my whipping boy when we get into. I might be lagging. My internet might be lagging. I apologize. But NAMBLA is my whipping boy. When we were having discussions about how much quote unquote censorship we should use in the pond, I would always bring up, okay, let's say a really nice guy hops into the Odyssey pond chat and they start proselytizing everyone about how it's just fine to touch little children inappropriately. Is that a person that we let make their case? Is that a person that we yeet? So I like to use them as the absurd end, as the whipping boy when we're discussing things like this.
I'd be curious to know. I mean, I would never subscribe to it. What you just said right there with like, it's okay to. Did you say the example was it's okay to touch children inappropriately?
Yeah, you got. Let's say Brian Stelter comes in here and he wants to have a legitimate conversation. He believes that it doesn't hurt children at all. If they're willing and they consent, then it's a wonderful thing, right?
I've heard that argument. I think that hearing what a person has to say on that is valuable to the extent of it lets you know where the person stands. I personally would never subscribe to that line of thinking. I would listen to it, entertain it, not subscribe to it. Because I
Now
feel that,
let's go even more absurd. You ready?
oh
Let's
dear,
say 10 of
more
these
absurd than
people come
that.
into let's say that 10 of these people come into our chat and they're pushing it hard.
Yeah.
Do we just let them go about sliding the whole chat and
No,
burn degeneracy all over the place, or do we yeet them?
We're gonna mock, ridicule, then yeet.
Yeah.
This is
right.
Yes, I would agree with that. Mock and ridicule and then yeet. Yes. I mean, my word.
Well, there's a bunch of people out there that are like, oh, it's my censorship. I'm like, no, dude. For the same reason we don't have, pornos on broadcast television, there are times when you have to say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to allow this here in this place.
There was a point in my life, and I'll tell you, before I was introduced to the pond, and it was a little bit before Acts Truth, because Acts Truth was my gateway to your pond at for you, Pastor Shadilay. I was drawn to people like those in this community, and at the same time would leave very quickly if I was called out or called for what I was at the time. And the positive I took away from is that the door was never shut behind after I was told to leave or like what have you. I was able to come back. Unlike where I came from, where once they discovered that I was trying to throw off the shackles of this world and its lusts and desires and all these material things that go with it, they slammed the door shut, for which I'm thankful. Mind you, that they did slam the door shut. They made it easier for me not to go back to how I used to live. So yeah, for the example you gave, yeah, I can see it may actually save some people. It may actually turn people to Christ's path by providing that mockery and ridicule, as long as the door remains open for that person to come back when they finally are ready to stop living a life of degeneracy.
Yep.
Just saying.
And that's kind of the purpose of the pond, is to give people a place to come in and pit their ideas in the field. I wanted to make it a lot like the Chans. The flavor that I represent, Kekistan, Pull, it all started on 4chan. And the reason that it got so popular with free thinkers is because it was the only place that you could have a conversation without fear of being extradited, cast out. It's degenerate as hell over there, but it's definitely the Wild West on the battlefield of ideas. So I tried to do that over here as well. Whatever you want to test, whatever you want to come in and try, we welcome that. We just ask that you're in pursuit of truth, and we ask that you do your best to be intellectually honest about it. And that's how Pull, the official term is /POL/. It's politically incorrect. So on the image boards, it was a faction of people who were going against the political correct narrative. Now let's examine why the door closed in your face when you left those previous factions. Because political correctness exists. There is one view that is intrinsically true, and it must be promoted because it's right. And all opposing views are just inherently wrong, and they must be censored and silenced. That's why the door was closed on your side, not on ours.
Man, and welcome, James. That whole thing, I get what you're saying about like there's only one view and it's the right view. It is it astounds me that some people remain in that kind of plantation mindset when all it seems to bring is anger and depression and all sorts of like just mental illness manifestations. I cannot tell you how many people I have known and myself been who were living in lives of like despair and the daily knots in the stomach due to stress because it was a matter of holding on, desperately holding on to self destructive tendencies for no reason. I mean, now looking back, I don't know why the hell I was so attracted to it. I mean, okay, there was the excitement aspect of it. However, looking back, it's like it really wasn't so exciting. It was just never ending self-destruction. Like continual self-destruction. No like real growth. Lots of parties and lots of flair and lots of bling and shit like that, but it's like there was no soul. There was no real life. It's like the lights would come on, the darkness would get exposed, and next thing you know, you're looking at everyone for what they are, just a bunch of people with a bunch of makeup on and just looking like tired, just trashed out, just ugh. I don't understand why people would want to hold on to that. But how does that fit into a wolf in sheep's clothing? Well, these people are trying to give off the illusion that everything is hunky dory in life, and clearly it's not. It's very attractive if you're ignorant, but once you live it, it's like, no, it's no way to live. It's unfulfilling and trying to find, oh my gosh, if you're into a relationship, there's always going to be like 12 people who are trying to get into your relationship to either break up your relationship or like what have you. It's a never ending, what did X Truth used to call it, crabs in a bucket. Like you try to get up and away, and there's someone there to pull you back down and then discipline you for having the gall to try to leave a destructive environment.
How dare you disagree with me? And this is all
I'm glad
the inversion of the definition of tolerance. That's what it is. And
that's
rather
it
than be
though.
egalitarian towards people and elitist towards ideas, they flipped it around. Now you have to be elitist about ideas, or you have to be elitist about people, and egalitarian towards ideas. All ideas are the same. All ideas are equally valid. No, dude. Some ideas are worse than others, and that's how we've gotten here into postmodernism, where it doesn't have to be true. Dude, you had black science guy, fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was in an argument about
Yeah.
COVID, and the guy was like, "Well, I'm looking for peer review. I'm looking for." And dude, this dude comes out and says, "No, I want scientific consensus." Appeal to authority. Fuck the
When
data.
he says
Fuck the
scientific
best conclusion.
consensus, well, what does he
He
mean by
said it.
consensus? I wasn't there to hear it. I
99%
wasn't there to
of
hear it.
scientists agree that climate change is real. There you go. There's your
Well, who are the
consensus.
scientists? That yes, and from a statistician's point of view, it's like, well, what is the sample size? I mean, you could have a sample size of 5 scientists, and well, you would never reach 99%. The highest you would reach is 80, or 100, but 80. 99. Okay, so 100 scientists. So 99 of them, but one, that doesn't mean they're right. Just because people agree to something. You know what? I am actually repeating what I saw in your stream today. That followed the Cabal series. That woman said it's like just because, or it wasn't the woman, but it was one of the people being interviewed. It says it doesn't matter how many people you have agreeing to something, just because they agree to it doesn't make it correct.
That is correct.
I don't know if like a lot of you out there. I mean, I know some of you are from the pond, and hi pond, nice to see y'all. Um, but if you haven't been to like Pastor Shadilay's pond, he tends to play these videos that have some pretty big morsels of truth. Some of them sometimes a little hard to swallow, but manageable, I must say. So, yes. Where should we move with this?
Well, I think the question was how to spot them, and that depends on what aspect of life you're talking about. Theologically, it's pretty simple. Red Dawn Radio likes to talk about open-handed and closed-handed issues. An example of an open-handed issue would be the age of the earth. Some Christians out there believe that the age of the earth is only 6,000 years old, and they've got some decent evidence and arguments to back up their claim. There are other Christians that think that the earth is millions of years old, and they have some decent evidence to back up their claims. That's an open-handed area. There are closed-handed areas, such as you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to attain and maintain salvation. There's hundreds of different ways that you can go theologically. So when you're identifying someone in the spiritual realm, you first take a look at the office that they're claiming. If it's just a normie Christian, they're just spouting out stuff, that's normal. Just correct them on the fly. Be like, hey, that's not really what is in Scripture. Go take a look here. Look at this verse. How do you reconcile this with what you're saying? If it's someone who is claiming to be a... Huh?
Do you have examples?
So in RSBN chat last night, there was a guy who was LARPing as an Indian dude that came over like in the 1960s, and he became a lustful adulterer, and the 3 girls that he was having sex with poisoned him. This was, by this guy's admission, his past life. And he was talking about, oh, I need to pray really hard and do this so Jesus will forgive me. And I'm like, no, dude, that's not how it works. You're a fucking retard. It is not something you can work for and attain. You can't pay for or purchase a free gift. It's free. That's the entire point of the propitiation. So I had to take that guy to task. He was there being a false teacher. He was basically misrepresenting my king. And I kept asking him, why are you triggered by my king? Why do you hate Christ? And he kept, tap dancing around that. So that was an example. Now, if this dude was like, oh, I'm a deacon or I'm a reverend, then I have to go completely and totally balls out, flopped on the coffee table, because this is a person that is claiming to be a representative of God in the form of a pastor or a teacher, and they are misrepresenting my king. I expect it from normies. I expect it from the lost. It's what they do. They'll believe anything without a shred of evidence, as long as it's not Christ and the gospel accurately represented or accurately portrayed. But when someone says, hey, I'm a pastor, hey, I'm a reverend, and they start coming off with obvious demonstrable heresy, and they don't respond to criticism or questions, then you have what Scripture is talking about, a wolf in sheep's clothing, someone who is trying to lead people astray from Christ's flock.
I'm trying to remember who I heard it from, but there was someone on the news recently who was trying to say Jesus Christ is not the only way to heaven. And I wish I would have saved that article. But,
did you see that on Oprah? It was a long time ago, but there was an Oprah segment. There was an Oprah segment, and these people were trying to say,
Oprah.
All roads lead to heaven, basically be a good person. And a bunch of Christians, they're like, no, by faith through grace, you are saved. Boom, dude.
Right. Oh, it was Oprah. It was old Oprah. It was, I do not remember what it was. I am sorry, Pastor Shadilay. I took an indica last night and was sitting there watching something on YouTube, but it passed through. It was Oprah.
Oh, you're good.
Yes. So do you remember exactly what the context of that was that they were trying to tell people?
They were trying to make a case for religious pluralism. All roads basically lead to the same center. Religious pluralism is saying that all religions are inherently equal and valid. One is not better than the other. And that right there is a violation of the law of non-contradiction. You can't say that they're all the same and then start looking at them. The guy that I play all the time, Greg Kokel, he he talks about this classroom full of school kids that he was teaching. and he's like, okay, all views are equally valid, right? And they're like, oh yeah, they agreed with it. Then he writes up on the board. Hold on. He writes up on the
Okay.
board. He says, all religions are equally valid. And then right below that, he writes, Christians believe that Jews who deny Jesus are wrong and are going to hell. And they all start
Christians
getting uppity.
believe.
No, you can't say that. That's intolerant. And he points up to the thing right above that says all religious views are equally valid. Even that one, even this one, even the Christian claim.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you in their fallacy. They're trying to put something forward that is a contradiction on its face. That commits suicide, basically.
You know, that's curious because we have people. I'm going to use Biden for instance. You know, clearly this wolf is not wearing any sheep's clothing. This is just a wolf, but tries to pretend that he's a sheep and tries to pretend that he's doing the best, unless he's got like a severe bias and is actually settled in his brain that he's doing the best thing for people. How is it that some people cannot see wolves when they're clearly wolves? I mean, do some people just enjoy having a wolf around? Do you know where I'm going with this?
I think that some people simply don't know any better. When you take a look at our populace, the overwhelming majority of them, they believe a bunch of stuff that they cannot explain if you ask them. That's why the first Columbo question, what do you mean by that, stops about 75% of people in their tracks. They don't know what the hell they believe. They hear a bunch of repeat parrot stuff, thanks to Operation Mockingbird and the way it's been implemented into every aspect of society, but it's just what they believe. And it's kind of like the allegory of the cave. They're still down there in the cave, and there are people like, hey, there's you can get out up here. Look, they don't want to leave, and it's hard to break people out of that. It takes something. I believe it takes an act of divine intervention, to be honest with you, because these people are enthralled by our enemy, who is extremely cunning and good at what they do. And they just don't realize it. So reaching through to these people has been a passion of mine for some time. Now, for as much as I teach this stuff, as many tools as I can give people, I still wholeheartedly 100% believe in my heart that these these people, they're not going to wake up unless God wants them to wake up. You can have the best arguments, you can have the best apologetics, and unless it's time for them to wake up, they're not going to wake up. So this craft that I hone and teach to other people, when you go out there and do it, don't have any kind of expectation, because I believe God can sense if you have some kind of expectation. Because when I first got really good at this, I went out there and I just slew people, and I wasn't getting any fruit. When I stopped and I realized, hey, I'm not responsible for this. It's not my job to wake them up. I just have to be an instrument in his hand. And then if someone happens to wake up, be it right then, 5 years down the road, glory to God. It wasn't me. It was just him using me as his instrument.
You know, I think there have been acts of God going on around us, and they're being misrepresented. I mean, like with disinformation, misinformation, and stuff like that. I believe that God has been sending us signs, and they've been like, for instance, natural disasters and stuff. They kind of line up with some aspects of scripture, and they're being explained away as like, oh my gosh, it's global warming, it's climate change, that kind of stuff. Kind of like minimizing the message of like what's happening around us, or any of these like this what is this in this inversion of, you know, good is now wickedness and wickedness is now well associated to tolerable in society, it would seem, even though there are plenty of us, and I would beg to say a majority of us, who are not on board with what is going on. Even the normies, I believe, I could be wrong. I believe the normies are fully aware of like what's going on, and also actively turning away and acting like it's not there, because to look at it would be, do I say heartbreaking?
Yeah, what you're describing is
Mind,
cognitive dissonance.
can that be acquired? Can someone teach someone to be
It's
cognitive
actually a
dissonant?
natural human phenomenon.
Why?
Cognitive
What
dissonance
is
is
it?
a
What?
natural human phenomenon because it compartmentalizes things in your mind so they don't basically just destroy you at your core. You can
Is this
examine it in like trauma survivors, people that have been injured in war. Yeah, it's it's a motherfucker.
you know?
But I don't
I
think it's
used to get
just that.
called. Hmm.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, when I was like living on the progressive left aspect of life, I would towards the end, before I was, excommunicated, I was told that I was espousing cognitive dissonance for holding um, conflicting concepts in my mind and making arguments for things which contradict each other. And it angered a lot of people that I was entertaining the pros and the cons of things which we were told not to question. And they told me that was cognitive dissonance. I don't think that that's cognitive dissonance to ask questions about your surroundings and what is going on in your environment. How
What
do
you
we
experience there is
define?
projection. That is textbook projection.
Okay. And this is why I'm moving into my next thing. It's like, do we always understand people's definitions of what they're saying? Like when you say cognitive dissonance, I'm going to follow it because this is something that you've actually taught me. What's your definition of cognitive dissonance?
Cognitive dissonance is basically seeing the horizon of a truth and then backing away from it because it's unsettling, unnerving, or basically so low energy that even entertaining it would wreck it. A good example would be the Vatican scandals. A lot of information was coming out that the Vatican was doing weird shit with boys, and a lot of sauce, a lot of evidence came out there. A lot of normies,
Yes.
me included, still defended the Vatican because Christians are pretty okay people. This was long before I really came to Christ, before I knew who he is. But
Yes.
there's an example of it. You don't want to think about that. You don't want to imagine in your head that there's a bunch of quote unquote Vatican top brass out there that are passing around boys like it's the thing to do. It's something that you don't want to have to confront.
Do you think it's still happening? Do you think it's still going on?
Yeah, I would imagine. When someone asks me about the Vatican, whether they're good or bad, I'd say Google Vatican snake pic, and you'll see my argument.
Oh, you're talking about the architecture of
Oh yeah.
that thing that looks like the big serpent's head and stuff.
Yep. And
Yeah,
then you look
yeah.
historically, they've killed anyone who have tried to undermine their appeal to authority fallacy on who Christ is, what he teaches, and what he commands.
See, and
They
that's
just
why I was
killed people.
asking. I don't know, like, I think it was like, what, 1 or 2 episodes ago, I was asking about the scribes and asking if the scribes were ever, like, if anything negative ever happened to them. And you were explaining to me, if I remember correctly, that there were some scribes who actively sought to end the lives of other scribes because they were taking down the proper accounts. If I
No, that
understood what
was
you were telling
specifically
me,
with Christ.
that was specifically with Christ. Okay.
Right. Now after Christ, yes. After Christ, yes. There were people that once you worked up to the council, and you had the actual Vatican established, they started basically putting forward a power play where they were the ultimate authority. And they came up with some cultural things such as the doctrine of transubstantiation. They started to centralize power and do crazy shit that the Bible doesn't say to do. Like, for example, it says, call no man father, but in most Episcopalian and Catholic denominations, you call the priest father. So there's a bunch of shit that happened that was demonstrably false when you compare it to Christ, what Christ actually teaches and commands. And over time, like I think Wycliffe, Huss, they were all hundreds of years down the road, but these are people that they were studying the language, they saw what Christ was saying, and they're like, wait a minute, The church is selling indulgences. They're telling people that they can pay to have their relatives sprung out of purgatory. This is bullshit. And when they tried to challenge it, they were just killed. The doctrine of transubstantiation is that the blood and the bread and the wine in the Eucharist, in communion, actually physically becomes Christ's body and Christ's blood. If you challenge that back then, they fucking killed you. So yeah, that's true. Floki and Cheeky say hello, guys.
Yes, is this conversation upsetting Floki, or does Floki have something to add to the conversation?
He's just saying, what's up, Snigga? He said he loves you.
Hey, Floki, what's up? This is where we need to on here. All right. So let's see. Okay, so we have about 15 minutes left. Anyone like Raynoth, Feisty, James? Do you guys have anything to add so far?
Well, I don't really know what this is yet. I was just clicking the link.
Not really, because it's beyond my wheelhouse. Some of it is. That makes sense.
All right. Yep.
I'm loving the conversation, and I don't really have much to say because really Pastor nails it down anyway. So
that's why I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm glad that we're doing this. You know, I was asking Brock earlier, what's up? Pastor, you okay? Whenever you go, oh boy, in that Saul, is it Saul Roseberg?
No, I was responding to Feisty Ace.
Oh, okay. So earlier I had asked the evil AI over at X about a wolf in sheep's clothing, and it was like it's like saying it's a metaphorical expression that gives like a list of how you're gonna know them, and it says they love power in themselves, they refuse correction and respond with anger. They feed themselves like they're gluttons, like they just consume and consume and consume, whether that be energy or food or drink or what have you. It's like they just don't know any limits to self-service. Let's see. This one was interesting to me, Pastor Shadilay. It says they're biblically illiterate.
I like number 4.
And I was surprised that Grok brought this forth, because Grok scrapes Wikipedia for all intents and purposes of this case. And I thought it was interesting because Wikipedia is pretty freaking left-leaning. And it surprised me that it brought this up. We'll get back to number 4. They want to take power. And let's see. They manipulate and deceive. They lack empathy.
It's almost like it's describing someone I know.
You know, we're not going to gossip. Okay. But I know. If you can speak in illusionary terms, that's fabulous. Let's see. They exhibit a pattern of behavior. Wolves in sheep's clothing may have a history of manipulative or deceptive behavior. But number 4 stuck out to you. Care to elucidate?
Yeah, they're biblically illiterate. In a religious context, these individuals may lack a deep understanding of the teachings and principles they claim to uphold. And yeah, 100%. The legalism example that I gave is the biggest. That's the biggest tank on their battlefield. You must do X and Y in order to get Christ's free gift. You're going to see that out there a lot. The people that like to do the finger pointing, and man, there was some shit going on in the pawn chat the other day, and people were doing the typical dick measuring, and I'm like, I was thinking about Christ's parable. Lord, thank you that I am not like that lowly tax collector over there. Meanwhile, the tax collector is like, forgive me, Father, for I am a sinner. You'll see that a lot of times. They will engage in what I call sheep beating. The biblically illiterate part, when I saw that, I'm like, dude, The persons that I've encountered before I got online and after I got online, they will not have a discussion with you. They do get upset. They do basically retreat to their ivory tower. It's fucking wild. I can't believe Grok nailed it as well as he did.
I'm surprised by that. And what I was saying, yeah, to wasn't the reference to what was going on in the pond because I wasn't there. What I'm saying, yeah, to is like sometimes I catch myself. I don't know the inner workings of another person's mind. And that parable, I forgot about that parable until you mentioned it. That's a very, what is the word I'm looking for? A sobering parable. It really clears things up. Because so often, I mean, I used to operate like this, and I try not to, where I try to project what I think is what the other person's thinking, and I could be completely off base, but then run with it anyway. Run with it as if it's
that's
a
called the rat
fact.
equation.
Yes, please go
That's
into
the rat
that one.
equation.
Could you please
So
go
the
into
rat
that because
equation
you've
is
explained
real
this one.
truth plus apparent truth equals tempting falsehood. So the real truth is something that our enemy will pair up with an apparent truth, something that seems like it could be true, and then it presents a tempting falsehood, and our brains just inherently pick it up with, yeah, that's what this person believes, or yeah, that's this person's motive. And I like to remind people that we are not fucking Miss Cleo. We cannot bumbleclot, the cards don't lie, and know what this other person is thinking. It's always best to ask them. Most people are going to tell you what's going on in their head if you really have to know. Now, I love what Yvonne says. Yvonne says, what other people think about you is none of your business. And that's true.
Yep.
You can't see inside another person's heart, and you can't see inside another person's mind. And I was having these kind of conversations with Muko back in the day, and it goes a step further. Let's say that you could. Let's say that all of these bullshit suspicions the enemy plants in your head, which always slant towards the good. You never presume someone's doing things for the right reasons, do you? No, that's total depravity. But I was having a conversation that, yeah, as we are doing this, as we are engaging in this stuff to other people, we are basically misrepresenting them. We're biting that rotten fruit, and we're pretending that we can know something that we could never, ever know. You can't see into their heart. You can't see into their mind. And if you could, even if you could, and you saw that you were right, what does that mean as a Christian? That means you have to pray for them even harder. That means you have more to forgive now, because Christ commands that you forgive. And if you don't know about it, if this person's plotting against you and you have no fucking clue, you don't have to forgive them for that. You don't even know. Being able to see in their head, and let's say that your suspicions are all correct and this person's just flat out fucking evil and is out to get you, then you have to pray for them even harder as commanded by Christ. So why the fuck would you want to know? It's not our business. That's between them and our king. We're not going to stand before each other to judge each other. We're going to stand before our king, and we are going to judge the angels. Scripture says, do you not know you will judge the angels? Why then can you not settle differences amongst yourselves? And that's what pissed me off about a lot of this pond drama. People will not go out and just go to the person they have an issue with and have a fucking one-to-one conversation. It really is that simple. That's how we're commanded biblically. And rather than go and get two people and then go to one of the pastors and try to hash shit out, they decide that they want to go and just talk the shit out in chats, in other people's chats. And I'm like, guys, there's a more excellent way. Get together one-to-one, hash it out however you can. Forgive each other and press on, because the enemy's going to do its best to divide us. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. God is going to bring a lot of the evil stuff up in our heads so that he can remove it. So as the enemy tries to get us to engage in this Miss Cleo bullshit, recognize you don't get to know what's going on in their head. And even if you did, you have to pray for them even harder and forgive them even more. And I'm going to tell people out there, if you have a problem with another person, do everything you can to go to them directly. And
yes,
I don't mind the shit posting in the chats. It's going to happen, guys. Sometimes you just have to let the boys fight. I just want to stress to you guys that there is a more excellent way. Do you not know that you will judge angels? Why then can we not settle differences amongst themselves? Now, for us, a bunch of spurgs and shitlords beating each other up all the time, it's fun, right? But our enemy will go out to the outside forces. Our enemy will threaten to call the FBI on us or to flag us and tell on us. They're going to outside forces. We don't do that. We're going to try to settle stuff amongst ourselves, and we're all going to fuck it up, guys. And that happens. Just pray for each other and try to do the best you can to do it in whatever manner Christ commands.
Now I have a question.
Was that rambling?
No, that was wonderful. And as brothers and sisters, we should settle our differences and move on and forgive each other and because we've got to. I mean, freak! I want to judge some angels someday. I want to judge. I mean, I don't want to be like cast into a lake of fire and not have an opportunity to judge an angel because I think that's a pretty cool skill. That
I think that's why we have to live through this, man. Angels don't know what it's like to be hungry and have to steal for the kids. An angel doesn't know what it's like to have to kill another human being that's trying to kill someone in their family. They don't know what that's like. They can watch, they can observe, but they don't get to experience it. We do. It's probably why we will judge them.
See, and that's the part that, when you were talking about, like, I think it was like last episode, full satisfaction in Christ, regardless of, like, that is the term, correct? The phrase?
Yes, being fully satisfied in Christ, no matter what.
Yes, being fully satisfied
and to rejoice when you're persecuted for Christ's sake. When someone's attacking you because you serve Christ, rejoice. That's you're storing treasures in heaven and blessings on earth.
Since you've said that, I've been like using that almost every day. Now I know I may not act it all the time, but it's like something I've been like working on. Is like through all the negatives and everything that's going on, because there are positives too, but just understanding. It's like even like the snitty battles between people and such. It's like observing or interacting and all that. It's like I'm thankful to have the opportunity. And as far as interactions between people in our community and stuff, does not steel sharpen steel? Or do I have that incorrect?
Iron sharpens iron. Same principle.
Iron sharp. Okay. So I don't know if some people out there are still like, hemming and hawing with other people and having like those negative feelings and such. It's like, maybe it's time to look at your edges and realize that maybe it's time to put them down for a moment. Just saying.
Well, and recognize it's all for God's glory too. The stuff we're going through, guys, it's okay. In the end, this is what happens in the pond. People get broke down. Some people got some really deep idols that need to be broken. They have some strongholds the enemy's gotten in them, and it ain't pretty. And that's okay. Just love each other, forgive each other, guys.
Yes. All right. With that, we are about 3 minutes off because I end the show after about an hour, and we have Red Dawn Radio coming on after this, and I'm gonna drop Red Dawn's link to the Rumble, and also after Red Dawn Radio, you guys know that Raynos Roundtable Disruption is also coming up tonight,
which is a ton of fun.
So yes. So I'm populating with Red Dawn Radio. Raynoth, which platform do you want promoted tonight?
I don't care. I want all three. Odyssey, Rumble, and Build. So Odyssey is always home base though. It always has been.
Odyssey has the memes.
Build is definitely Build is good. But Odyssey is where I started, and that'll always be home base. Unless they get rid of it, I'll be sad.
If I were to drop a link into chat, which one would you prefer?
The Odyssey link.
Odyssey? I'll drop the Odyssey in there for you.
Thank you.
So Thank you very much. Of course. You know what? I've enjoyed this. I think that this went very well. Episode 4 went very well. What do you think, Pastor Shadilay?
I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I'm going to eventually try to coax you into going a little longer, like maybe until 6:50.
How would I do that?
You just
okay. Well,
stick around longer.
Well, we're kind of doing we're kind of doing it right now. We're kind of doing
Yeah,
it
I know,
right now.
I know.
Okay,
But
consider
I end
this
up with a
coaching.
lull. I end up with this like 15 minutes where I got to find something to do until the next person comes on, like Laura on Thursdays, and of course Red Dawn Radio here in about 15 minutes. So if you want, there's a gap there. If you want to just hang out and talk shit afterwards, you know, niggas.
We can keep it going. I mean, what do you guys think out there in the audience and stuff like that? Should we just like keep going until Pastor says I gotta go? Because I'm okay with it. It's like, what am I doing? It's like I'm just gonna go to the kitchen and go grab some cookies and eat
You gotta
them.
go get some milk and cookies.
Get some milk and cookies because I'm old and it's bedtime. So yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I'd
if
be
you want
hanging out
to
with
do
y'all
like a
at these
Q&A
shows.
or maybe just talk about current events or something like that, that'd be cool. And till like 6:50, 6:55, because Red Dawn Radio usually pops right at 6:55. So you'd be leading everyone directly into him. So there's like more of a direct, hey, you've already got a place to go right now. And because each show I'm sitting here for like 15 minutes and I'll just kind of bullshit or I'll run my promo or something. Or if dude, there's been a lot of Trump lately. What do you think about Trump?
Did you see where?
What do I think? Oh, go on.
Revolver News came out with an article about the transgender stuff and how it's Marxists embedding it into the fucking schools, and how it was 10.5% of the money that comes from the government goes to the children, which is the money that they hold over the head of the schools to indoctrinate into the school systems. So if you want, I'll drop
I
it
did
off.
not see that.
Give me a second.
You're talking about the Marxist agenda to get the transgenderism into schools? Is that what you're saying right now?
Cultural Marxism and the Lifetime of Transgenderism by Red Voice Media. Hang on,
yeah.
I'll drop it in. I guess I'll drop it in the chat.
Rainoff, did you see the Trump Q thing last night?
No, I did not see it last night.
So check it out. For those people out there that don't know, I am a subject matter expert in the Q phenomenon. And last night during Trump's rally, someone screamed out top of their lungs, "Where we go one, we go all." And Trump looks over at the dude, smiles at him, and nods, and then goes right back into form. It was fucking crazy. A lot of people were talking about it in the Q communities.
It's going to be interesting, whatever comes out of that. But yeah, I dropped that article in there. You might find it interesting.
Let me pull it up.
It gives a whole timeline on when they started the basic introduction of it in America anyway. It's happened much beyond that, but...
Come on, bastard.
Let me see what this is.
Yeah, that's critical gender theory embodied. That's what that is. That's critical gender theory. And it was all about going after the little boys. It's people that like to fuck little boys.
The premise of this is that's the idea that they're going to use for Michelle Obama to run for president is transgenderism, and how Obama set the door or opened the door for a lot of it during his presidency.
You know, though, the thing is that there's no such, and hey, Red Dawn, there's no such thing as transgender. There's no such thing as transgender.
Hey, Kevin, you wanna go the hard way about this? So
yes,
let's look at it like
go the hard way about everything.
Their goal is to fuck little boys. So what's the best path forward for that? First thing you do is make it to where little boys can be little girls, and then you reduce the age of consent. Boom, you're fucking little boys.
Well, this is what I've been saying is to go and tell a child that they have the agency to make adult decisions, say getting up on a surgeon's table and having your body reshaped. That's a very.
And do you know what NAMBLA's tagline is?
No, I don't.
NAMBLA's tagline is "Sex before 8, before it's too late."
Oh, stop! I thought you were going to say "Love is love." Oh.
No. Sex before 8, before it's too late. That's the NAMBLA, the North American Man Boy Love Association tagline.
That also ties into some of the Talamed teachings.
Hey, Red Dawn Radio
Let me
has a
see.
gift. I'm going to post it into the chat.
I think
You
I
said
have
play
it. It's like, okay, I'm going to play it. One moment. Here we go.
Oh shit!
Ah,
Is this recent?
stop. No. Here.
No volume.
Hold on. Now I'm hold on. I'm thinking. Did I not share my, let me replace. Stop screen sharing. Oh, no,
You have
don't
to
look at
click
me.
the with audio tab.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Hi. Hi, Kevin.
Hi. Hello. Okay, here we go.
Donald Trump, a valuable lesson. Don't mess with the men in America unless you want to get the benefit.
What the fuck?
One more time. One more time with that.
Holy shit, please.
Donald Trump, a valuable lesson. Don't mess with the men in America unless you want to get the benefit.
Okay.
Don't mess with them.
Okay,
I want to get benefit. What the fuck?
I'll make sure. I'll make sure I
That's
don't
what
do
grandpa
that.
do to the old
So.
folks home.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Flip City Mag. Christy, how you doing? Welcome. Flip City Mag is over there unpilled. Okay.
Nice.
What the
Hello,
hell
Flip
was
City.
that?
Love you guys.
Oh, you know what? Let me see something here. Okay. Do you guys know if you don't have the URL to Flip City Magazine, let me like drop it in. flipcitymag.com. It's like Mad Magazine, but better because it's not
It
woke.
looks like
Much better. Great people.
Now, James, are you understanding now what is all about, what the show is all about? Have you figured it out?
not really.
Well, stick
I mean,
around for,
I heard what you're talking about, but I don't know what this is all about, so to speak.
Oh,
It's some kind of
it's
meeting.
well, yes, it is. It is some kind of meeting. Welcome to the meeting. It's the meeting where we discuss.
Just want to give everybody a quick update. Sorry, Kevin. Trump is currently up 54% with the New Hampshire primaries. He's got 54.36 to Nikki Haley's 44.73. And now everybody remember that there are more Democrats and independents voting in this primary because of how they have theirs set up. They allow them to vote for any party to vote for whatever in the primary. And so there's I think like 6 or 7% combined more independents and Democrats. So they're trying to load up the number for Nikki Haley with the never Trump attitude, but he's still on top. So just wanted to give everybody an update. We're winning.
Excellent.
Good shit.
Thank you, Smega. Right on.
You know, I'm gonna like say this here. I'm like asking. Well, actually, I didn't ask RDR. I just said get in here. But I meant to say that pleasantly. Drunken Rocky, you guys can come in too because for one, since Red Dawn is here, why not hear from the monkey himself and like do his promo?
He's
Tell
got
us
like
what the
3
show's
minutes
gonna be
till he
about
goes
tonight.
hot, Kevin.
I know it's 3 minutes till he goes hot. Rocky, jump in here. Oh, there's Polly. Well, Polly is not either one of them, but fine. You know what? Polly doesn't even have his mic on yet. But
and Bally.
Are you chatting?
Rocky
somewhere?
could like jump in here because Rocky, you can see the link. You could like jump in here and like promote your show. I mean, it's like Rocky. Rocky is like the white pill of the week. So yeah.
The greatest drunken rock avatar on the internet, hands down.
Right?
And if you're Irish and you have a small penis, make sure you tell him.
Why?
It's his curse.
He's the Irish dick whisperer.
Yes.
Have I? Okay, well, apparently I have. I have been going to bed too early. And is this new? Is this something new?
That's a few months old.
Yeah, about 6 months old, maybe, roughly.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, he must not do it every episode because I don't recall Irish dick whispering.
It's
This
a
must
It's a
happen.
running
Is
gag.
it? Oh, okay, all right. And
Probably
look at
gets
that.
mentioned
Paulie like
every
banned
other show, every
himself.
third show.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Kevin,
Ban Paulie.
you want a sneak
Yes.
peek of tomorrow's title image?
I do absolutely not affiliated with Oh my word!
It's
I
back
don't
there.
know. Here, could you like?
It's okay.
Here, take over and like.
Yeah,
How do
okay.
I?
Here, I'll show
don't-
it. I'll show it. Hold on. Let me get your background back. There we go. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. I'll
Thank
share
you.
it in Photoshop.
Okay.
It's so good.
Okay. Let's expand.
Nice.
Enhance.
I don't know if you guys heard the audio that Carrie Lake released of the
Ooh.
Arizona GOP chair trying to bribe her with Washington, D.C. money to not run for Senate for 2 years. But he basically said
heard rumors of that.
D.C. is a big back scratchers club. And I was like, okay, we're going to use that. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow.
Nice, dude.
Well, I am looking forward to that.
Dude, I'm getting good with this AI. I'm getting good with it.
Good
All right.
shit.
Sorry about that.
Yes, you are.
No, absolutely. Why be sorry for any of that? That's fantastic. Looking forward to tomorrow's show. Definitely going to get plenty of sleep tonight. Kind of sad being old and everything like that. Can't stay up for like Red Dawn Radio and then, all the other like wonderful creators who create because Lord knows. Oh, look, Paulie finally has his.
The unbannable. I can't be banned.
Ban Paulie.
Except now well, I can't. I'm not going to ban Polly because I actually miss Polly. But now we're at 6:56. So is this? No, I can't do it. I won't do it. You can't make me. You can't make me ban you. Okay.
He likes it though.
Do it.
Not banning him
No.
is like telling him you hate him.
Polly, I'm not going to ban you. No,
Not
not going to.
Do it
Anyway.
now.
Do it.
Don't
Do it.
don't make me say something inappropriate. No,
Fine, I'll
I'm
do it.
gonna do this. No.
Yay. Ban Paulie.
That was weird.
And a big.
Hey, you even got $1 to ban Paulie. Good job.
Thank you, Mr.
He's
T.
getting
Thank you
banned
for the
across
dollar.
the
Thank you
field.
so much.
Thank you,
People
Tuzo.
still bribing to get me banned.
Yeah.
Oh, see, this
Is there anywhere you don't get banned?
No.
I have to say, the next show is going to be Thursday, and this is only the 4th episode of Ach, and I have to say, the last portion of this show. I mean, I love what Pastor and I do. This part right here made the episode very special. It's so nice to see you guys again. It's very nice to see you guys again.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us, Mega.
it's definitely cool to hang out with you again. Fucking all of us get fucking busy as shit.
Yeah. So
Pass
the
the
show is
ships.
now ending.
We'll
I'm
get
gonna
together and have a boat party.
absolutely. You guys go enjoy Red Dawn Radio, and
Do it.
we will see you tomorrow for No Prisoners Productions. So enjoy your evening. God bless.
Thank you guys. Pray for each other.
Thank you.
Hey.
All right. Do we get the ending? Where's the ending?
Wait, the stand ending?